Our guest today is a veteran rock guitarist. He's been in the game well over 35, 40 years, mainly with REO Speedwagon the last 35, now with the Kevin Cronin Band. He's here to talk about his career and the exciting upcoming tour this spring and summer, the Brotherhood of Rock. We got Styx on there, Kevin Cronin, REO, Don Felder. Dave Amato, welcome to the show. How are you, buddy?
Well, good, John. How you doing?
I'm doing well. We got a lot to talk about today, and I could see through show notes that you're originally from Massachusetts. Got to ask, are you a Bo Sox fan or are you on the Dodger bandwagon? Because there's a lot on there now. Where are you going?
You'd have to ask me that, right? So yeah. Tonight I'm going to the Dodger game. As a matter of fact, I am going to the Dodger game. I've turned into a Dodger fan, but my heart is still at the Red Sox. My heart's still in Boston. If it comes down to the playoffs, a World Series, I don't know who to pick. I probably go back to the Red Sox maybe. But for now, during the season, I can go to Dodger games here in LA, and it's so much fun. My buddy and I go all the time. We just went Saturday night. We're going again tonight. So I have fun doing it. I love baseball. So,
well, that's great. I love baseball too, but in the pecking order, I'm a New York Yankee fan, so I don't really care for the Red Sox, and I certainly don't care about the Dodgers. So, you know what? Have a beer and a Dodger dog for me tonight, and have a good time.
That's it.
Talking about good time, Brotherhood of Rock, Styx, Kevin Cronin's REO Speedwagon, Don Felder of Eagle fame kicks off in May, 40 dates across the states. Oh, they're billing the Styx portion is they're doing Grand Illusion in its entirety. Are you guys doing High Infidelity in its entirety?
Yeah, we're going to do High Infidelity, and then we pick up the other songs that we are not on High Infidelity at the end of the show. Like we did in Vegas. We did that in Vegas too. We had a good run in Vegas at the Venetian, and that's what we did. We did High Infidelity, and then we did the rest of the songs at the end, and it works out great. So we're kind of used to that set. I don't know what we're going to have because we had an hour and a half in Vegas, and I think this is only 75. So we got to cram as many songs, as many hits as in the 75 minutes. I don't know. Kevin's going to write out the set. I don't know what he wants to do, but we're going to do as many High Infidelity. And High Infidelity songs are pretty short, so we might get it all in. I'm not sure, so we're going to try.
Well, a lot of those songs are never played live before.
Yes.
They're it's an oddity. It is a short album. Well, that was 1980. That's when it was albums.
Right.
You're 40 minutes, so you're sort of limited, but
they were thinking like all singles, they're just a single. Let's do songs that could be singles. So they're all really short, but they're fun to play, man. They're really fun to play.
Oh, well, I'm 57 years old, and I discovered, and I call it arena rock from my older brother. And I grew, my gateway was Kiss, obviously, but that old REO, that old Nugent, or double live Gonzo, the live REO, all of that stuff. So I've always been an REO fan, and you took over for Richrath in '89, Gary Richrath, the original guitarist.
Sure.
Now, did you have a relationship with Gary? Did you know him beforehand or anything?
No, I did not. No, I joined the band, and I only saw him about 3 times during my, when he was alive. He came out a couple of times to see us. I didn't really know him. I mean, I respect the guy. I took his place, and he's a great guitar player, and I'm thankful to have that job for 36 years. That he paved the way for me. I just love the guy, and I respect his playing. So, and I play the songs, I Can't Fight This Feeling. I play, the song, the solo that he played. I don't want to play something different because, his solos were crafted really well in those songs. So, if there's a song that I can just do what I want to do on it. I pick the places where, it's necessary, and then I can be me after that, But
Oh, well,
I respect Gary so much. I mean, he laid it down for me, and
mhm.
I'm thankful for it.
Well, there's more than enough REO songs for you to noodle around and, get your yayas out. So the
Yeah,
ones
yeah.
that you stay in the lane and do you guys dig back into that? Like if you guys were to do, I must admit, I have not seen REO in years. I haven't seen REO Speedwagon in years, and not
Oh, you got to come out to see us.
I am. You have a Syracuse, New York date.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
I'd like to, maybe we'll meet, shake hands, and say hello. But I am, because I love, like I said, I'm an arena rock alumni. I love these bands. But like a song like Flying Turkey Trot, or like the 157 Riverside Avenue, the
Sure.
extended version.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, did you and Kevin like talk like because that was like a Gary and Kevin song, but it was a guitar and vocal kind of thing. Did you guys put your own stamp on it and have that's the part of the set you could have fun?
Yeah, on 157, I could pretty much, do what I mean. I play the basic, theme of it, but I can pretty much 157. I can pretty much do what I want.
Yeah,
And there's a little, Kevin and I do a little, and I
yeah,
mock his voice afterwards. We kind of do that thing at the end, but it's not exactly what's on the record. It's kind of like he does this thing and I just copy him. So that I go, but the turkey trot I never done, because that was like Gary's baby. So we've never done that one. I,
yeah.
I didn't I didn't want to do that one.
Well, that's cool. Like that's the, if I dare say this, that's the fan in you staying true. It's like, all right, that's Gary's thing. Let
Yeah. Yeah, that was his thing. I don't want to,
Yeah,
and I don't know what the fans would say about that. Like, oh, he's playing Gary's. I don't want to get into that that lane. But I mean, hey, I respect it. It's a great song, and that was Gary's whole thing. So let it stay Gary's. And I can do other things. Hey, I have a solo. What's great about REO Speedwagon, there's a guitar solo in every single song. So
what I'm saying.
what a gig for a guitar player. It's insane.
And you're a Les Paul guy. You have
I
your
am.
line of guitars, and Gary with those Les Pauls, there
Yep.
was the sound. It was awesome. Now you mentioned the fans. How has it been? Because come on, just like any other great longtime band, the fans are territorial. How were they when you took over?
Oh, it was relentless.
Was
It
it
was
brutal?
took me years to to I think they accepted me, but Gary was their fan favorite, and it took a long time for them to accept me into their world, and and even sometimes they did come out and say like, hey, Gary, that was a great show.
Uh,
It's like, wait, I'm not Gary, I'm Dave. So, but it took a while, and then now, it's after so many years, it's great. So
well,
yeah,
yeah,
it took a while.
that's part of the, I don't know if it's a problem, but in this day and age, how many original guys are there? And then the people out
True.
there, you got the soccer moms and the lacrosse dads at an REO show, they just want to hear the hits. It's just,
Right.
it's like they're just having a good time. And
Yeah.
um,
And sometimes they say, like, on the internet, like, oh, the band's not the same because Gary's not there. Gary passed away, and then but those are the fans that haven't come out and seen this band. With me and Brian and Matt Bissonette on bass. We just acquired him last year from Elton John. He's a monster. So the band is just smoking lately. And I hope you come out to see it. And you'll see, man, we've been on fire. Last year we had a big tour with Train, and we just kicked. It was awesome.
now, do you mix up the set list? Of course, there's the staples you got to play, but
Hmm.
do you? Does Kevin ever turn to you say, "Hey, Dave, this leg of the tour? Are there a couple other ones you want to get into set, or are there rotating songs so you keep it fresh as it is?
Well, yeah, he does that, at the beginning of the year, like what he feels like he wants to sing or express, that year or whatever, I mean, he picks it because he wants to, say something. He likes the lyrics. That's how he picks the songs. He likes to sing, so the lyrics mean something for him, and he said, well, we played this song enough, maybe let's go to this one, so he's the quarterback, so he usually calls the plays, but I mean, we can all chime in and say, yeah, let's do that one, Oh, he throws it out there. What do you think about that one? He's like, yeah, let's do it, let's do that one. Let's work it up. Let's see how it goes, it's fun.
What's the best part of, I know it's 36 years you've been in the band, but
Yeah.
what's the best part about being in this band that you've discovered?
Oh, I tell you, it's a family. It's a real, after 36 years, all these bands break up. Of course, there's a little conflict with the divorce of Bruce here,
Mm-hmm.
but these have been my friends and my family for 36 years, Um, that means a lot to me. It's a brotherhood and a real bond. I mean, it's like a marriage. It's a marriage, and it's a long it's a long marriage, and to ride in the bus together, one bus, same guys, and a lot of bands go like, oh, I want my own bus, and da da da. But we all get along, same bus, and it's a great brotherhood and a family, and I cherish that, and they're all my friends, Like some bands, oh, I hate the other guy, but I'm playing with him. But no, it's not like that in REO, and it's good when we get together and play music. It's the best. It's the ultimate.
Now you say that in that's sincere, but with this recent divorce with Neil and everything that's going on, are
Hmm.
you caught in the middle? Is it something? Can it be repaired, or is it just dollars and cents? Or what is the root of this breakup, or this whatever it is?
Well, it's uh it's a divorce. And I say, because Brian, the drummer, and I have been in the band for 36 years, it's kind of like a divorce between Kevin and Bruce, really. And we're kind of like the kids in the divorce, Brian
That's
and I. That's the way I like to explain it. We're like the kids, like saying, can we work this out, or not? But it seems like
yeah,
lately they just can't come to an agreement. Um, it's really sad. It's
yeah.
really a tough situation.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Alan Gratzer, the longtime drummer, he retired.
Yes.
So he retired. Bruce Hall, did he retire, or was he sick? And Neil Dowdy, the keyboard player. So
Neil retired. Neil retired like 2 years ago,
Neil
or maybe
retired.
more now. 2.5 years ago, I guess.
So
Um,
so
Bruce
Alan
had a
retired, Neil retired,
yes.
and Bruce was sick.
Well, Bruce had a back problem. He had real back
Yeah.
problems. Um, so we took some time off to, for him to get well. And he he wanted to come back, and he just didn't seem like he was, healthy enough or healed up enough to really come back. Although
Hmm.
he said he was, but it just seemed like he wasn't. When we saw him, he was supposed to come out in like March, and he didn't do it, and then he was supposed to come out in June, and then when we saw him, he didn't look like he was all 100%. So we just said, Bruce, why don't you just stay home and take care of yourself, while we go out to summer with Train.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
guess that's what it all agreed to do, but then it kind of blew up from there. It kind of got
Hmm.
messy with all the back and forth on the internet, which was not
Yeah.
good, which was really not good. You shouldn't have put that stuff, out to the public on that, because we
Yeah.
should have kept it, or whoever should have kept it private,
Yeah.
on that note. So it kind of blew up from there, and it got really ugly, really
Uh,
ugly.
One last question, then we're going to take a deep dive into Nugent, talk fun stuff. The recent in answer this any way you can or want. The recent yesterday, what Kevin Cronin was talking about, the Chicago invite of the original REO. Do you have any comment on that? Is basically Kevin Cronin said he was a little hurt and a little shocked that he wasn't invited to this Chicago concert that the original REO was involved in.
Yeah, well, yeah, and rightly so. I mean,
Yeah,
there's supposed to be a tribute or a celebration of REO Speedwagon, and you don't have Kevin there. And I mean, come on, everybody knows the dates for the summer. That I didn't get invited. Brian didn't get invited. We have 36 years in the band.
yeah,
So yeah, it was kind of a little slap in the face, I guess, and especially with Kevin. I mean, God, he's the lead singer of REO Speedwagon for so long. Wrote the songs, and if they want to do a celebration, he should be involved. And it's kind of and they knew we were on the road. So I don't know. They did it on purpose. I don't know. I don't know what to say about that, but they knew we were on the road, and they made this thing, and it's kind of like, it's a little funny.
well, it is a little funny. Well,
Yeah.
we're talking with Dave Amato, guitarist of the Kevin Cronin Band, this summer's hot tour, the Brotherhood of Rock, Styx, Kevin Cronin Band, and Don Felder. Uh, you spent some time with the crazy one, Nuge, in
I
in
did.
the '80s. Two albums,
Yes.
Little Miss Dangerous, and If You Can't Lick 'Em, Lick 'Em. I had a chance to see the tour twice in Rochester, New
Did
York.
you?
Yeah,
Yeah.
one time you opened for Aerosmith at the Rochester War Memorial,
Yeah.
and
Yep.
then you guys ran to the studio, put together If You Can't Lick 'Em, Lick 'Em, and you
Mhm.
came back with Kiss. How was it playing with Nuge? What'd you learn from Nugent, and how long did you know Ted? Because you guys are contemporaries. How'd you get involved with Nuge?
Well, it was Ricky Phillips. I'm sure you know from Styx and the Babies, and he's just a dear friend of mine. I mean, to this day, I love Ricky Phillips. We did a lot of projects in the '80s. And said to me one time, this is like 1985, I think it was. He said to me, like, I think he knew the Nugent's manager. And he said, "Hey, Ted's looking for a lead singer, guitar player. And I think you'd fit the bill on this one. So he basically got me the audition. And I went in there. There was another guy who I knew, and we had an audition, and then I got the gig. And Ted was in the middle of the Little Miss Dangerous record. I think he had it half done, and then I came in, and he was looking for a lead singer, and I sang half the record. It was like '85, so just went in there, and he put me under fire, and we did the record together, the second half of the record together, and then. He said we're going to do the we're going to do the Texas Jam, and that year, just one show, the Texas Jam that he did, I think every year at that time.
Yeah.
So, and we rehearsed for 10 days, and then my first gig, and I said to him, "Aren't we going to play like a club gig or something?" I mean, I just joined the band basically. And he said, "No, I like to break my boys in right." And it was 91,000 at the Cotton Bowl in Dallas, Texas, and I was singing half the show. It was wild. That was my first show, and Tommy Aldridge uh, was on drums then for that gig. I was playing with Tommy. It's amazing.
Why did Aldridge play with you guys at that gig?
Ted recruited him for that show. Yeah, he recruited him because he loved Tommy's feet. The double bass. Tommy's amazing.
Oh,
So we had rehearsal. I had a good time with Tommy. We were friends at the time. I haven't talked to him in a while, but Tommy Aldridge is an incredible drummer and a great guy. We hung at that time a lot.
You're credited with one writing credit on that for Take Me Away.
Yeah, and High Heels in Motion. We co-wrote too.
Oh, all right. Any of those ever make it into Setlist, live Setlist?
God, it's a long time ago.
Yeah. Yeah.
It may have. I can't remember. Maybe High Heels. Maybe High Heels.
Yeah. I don't know how reliable this is, but Diggins, looked like you played Angry Young Man that tour, Painkiller,
Painkiller.
Little Miss. I remember that girl you had on stage for Little Miss Dangerous. It was oh shit, Dave. 1986. I was graduating high school, and my first concert ever was Nugent, Scream Dream.
Scream Dream, yeah, with his arms and the guitars.
Yeah. But I was just on I was a guest on a podcast recently, and the subject was first concert memories. And so I got to share that. And and Humble Pie opened, and Nugent. Again, I got into all these bands back in the 70s, courtesy of my brother.
Great.
Love Nugent. Now, the comment on this and show research, Ted co-wrote a song with Bill Conti from Rocky fame, the composer of the Rocky soundtrack.
If I remember correctly, I think it was for a movie, I believe.
The song Strangers.
Yeah, I think that was for a movie. So, John, you take me way back there. I think that was specifically for a movie.
Okay.
I don't know if it made it in there or not. I can't remember.
Yeah, but, no, I just, when I start doing research, I'm doing research, and you go, it's like going down into a YouTube rabbit hole.
Yeah.
You're seeing stuff, and
one of them was produced. I remember going in the studio with Gene Simmons. I think that was for another movie. I don't know if it was for that one. I don't know. Gene Simmons produced one of ours. We went in with Gene Simmons, and I loved Gene. He was great. He was a great producer, really calm and very good, very smart guy. So I don't know if it was for that song or what. I don't know what song it was, but that was for another movie soundtrack. I think one song in a movie.
Well, in the mid 80s, that's when he was doing his movie thing, and he had his record label. I think A Land of a Thousand Faces, a music label, and he was, he's involved with everything but Kiss. It was that period, and Paul was running the show, and ended up with, purple gloves on and florals and everything. But it was the mid 80s. You ever look back at some of your pictures from 86?
Oh, I try not to. And I had pink guitars, yellow guitars, lime green guitars. When I first joined REO, I think I had a purple Jackson or something like that, and Kevin went, I don't think so. Not for REO Speedwagon.
Yeah, you got to put the glam metal stuff away,
Yeah, I sold them all. All the colors, I sold them all. See ya.
Oh, geez. So the 80s, you're touring. You did the second one. If you can't lick them. So you like I said, I saw you guys saw that tour with Kiss. You guys opened up for Kiss. How was that era? Anything?
Well, you know what? That wasn't me. I had left just before the Kiss that Kiss tour. Derek St. Holmes replaced me. That was late 87, right?
February 88. The album came out in February 88.
I was with Jimmy Barnes in Australia. I went to Jimmy Barnes.
Okay, yeah. According to I saw him 1/30/88 in Rochester. Ted Nugent.
88.
Yeah. January 30th, 88.
That was with Kiss?
Yep.
That was Derek. I had left in late 87.
All right, so you came late to Little Miss Dangerous, did the tour, and then you Yeah, it cut out.
Well, yeah, I did the If You Can't Lick 'em record too. I finished that, and
Hmm.
then Ted was going to go duck hunting, and is hunting in the wintertime. And so I went to Australia with Jimmy Barnes because I was playing with Jimmy in the wintertime because Ted didn't tour in the winter. So I was playing with Jimmy. So I was already stuck down in Australia. And then I think he got Derek back to do some of the Kiss stuff then,
Really,
which was,
that really was his schedule. It was wrapped around hunting season.
yeah, yeah.
It was Bow in October, and then and then Gun in November, and then who knows what's up with the spring.
No, the spring. No, no, we started to ramp up a little bit in the spring. Maybe
Oh,
March,
okay, yeah.
February, March. We ramp up again for the summer, and that was the schedule. So I'd go down to Australia with Jimmy
Uh,
in our winter, but it was summer down there, which was really great. So
yeah.
I'd leave California and I'd go down to Australia, which was summertime down there, and I'd tour with Jimmy all over the place down there, and. That was really fun. I was doing, two things at the time, which was lucky for me.
Yeah.
It's great. So
Uh,
I didn't want to break. I got a call to do that Kiss tour, but I couldn't do it. I didn't want to leave Jimmy, high and dry there, right in the middle of a tour. And then Derek came back for the to replace me. But then Ted called me in 1990 to do the Whiplash Bash tour, like what 3 years later or something. And I did
yeah.
that when I came back. I had to relearn all the songs like 3 years later, which was a ball. I absolutely love Ted Nugent. He's the greatest. I mean, he gave me a shot to lead sing in 1985, 86, and we had a ball together. And he's still my friend to this day.
Do you
Really good
speak with
friend.
him much? Do you have a chance to see him much?
Yeah, well, I just did a thing. I think he's coming out with a book, and I just did a little uh, thing for just saying some
Yeah.
things for his book. So I think that's
I
coming out.
I saw him last August up here in Rochester.
Did
Is
you?
Yeah, Adios Amigo tour. Uh, you know, I actually had a chance to see Nugent a bit in the last couple of years.
Did
Um,
you?
yeah, I saw him up in Niagara Falls, and you know, hey, I love Ted. I love his music.
Me too.
It is what it is. Everyone has a soapbox, whatever. But I'll go there and have them jam fucking 12 minutes of Stranglehold and have them do Paralyzed. And I'm like, yes, that's what I
Let,
came here for.
let me tell you. You got to split it in half. He's a Hall of Fame guitar player. Come
I know.
on. You know what I
I know.
mean? In the 70s, he was playing stadiums. He was selling out stadiums. And you're going to forget about that? I mean, I just don't think that's fair at all. If you
Yeah.
ask me, he's a Hall of Fame. Give him his due, man. He's all those years of touring and making records and playing incredible guitar. I mean, I
Yeah.
just it makes me kind of mad. He's a Hall of to me he's a Hall of Famer. Absolutely, yeah,
Everything comes full circle. So in that period, when was the first time you heard anything about the damn Yankees? Because all your boys are in it. You know,
yeah.
Tommy
Um,
Shaw, Ted, Jack Blades.
Jack, I love
Of
Jack
course you
Blades.
do. We all do.
And Ca- uh, Michael,
Michael
Michael on
Carolone.
drum. Oh, he's a monster with that band. I saw that band in L.A. When Ted, because I was friends with Ted and Jack too. So I went to see him, and I was like, not the band, and Tommy, of course, Tommy. I love Tommy. But I didn't know Michael, and when I went to see the band, I'm like, oh, who's this drummer? I mean,
Yeah.
he was a standout for sure. Not to mention the other guys are monsters. All of them.
Oh,
Jack and Tommy sing it together. Oh, I went. I don't know if Nugent. If I remember correct. God, it's so long ago. You're bringing up all this old stuff. Um, they were in L.A. I think recording High Enough, and Ted invited me down to the studio, and they were in the studio, and the record didn't even come out yet. And I think on the speakers, I went in there and they played High Enough. I went, oh my God, this is a
yeah.
monster hit. Before it came out, it was the vocals and the instruments and the Wow. I said,
Yeah,
oh,
well,
it's over, you know?
I, I'm glad that you say that because I loved those two. I saw the tour many times. That's when we had Simon Kirk on the show a couple of weeks ago,
Oh,
and
Simon, great.
yeah, and so Simon told the story about when Bad Company and Damn Yankees were they would tour together every summer. You know,
Sure.
they'd flip flop headline and one time Simon went up to Ted and he asked him, you know, in that English accent that I won't try to do. But he asked him, he goes, "What's the origins of the guitar strap or whatever?" And Ted went ahead and said that, you know, he shot it himself, and, you know, everything, and then like the raccoon tail, and but that's sincere. He's just sincere, and he wasn't doing the bow and arrow thing when you were doing Little Miss Dangerous
Yeah, he
tour.
was. Yeah, he was. Yeah.
Is
It
that
was.
when that's
Yeah. 86. Sure.
yeah.
One time, I got a story. One time I was I was like in the middle, like just zoning out on something, playing a guitar and so on. And he used to put a guitar like a big Gibson Birdland, one of those big thick ones,
Yeah.
was in the back, hung on the back of the stage in back of me, So I'm like zoning out, I got my eyes closed, and I'm rocking out, and I just happened to like look up, and let me shut this off. Oops. Ah, are you there? Okay,
I'm
sorry.
here.
A call was coming in. I'm sorry. Um, so I just happened to look up, and he had the bow cocked like this, and like the guitar was behind me. He's like this, like, get out of the way, get out of the
Yeah.
way, get out of the way. And I'm like, oh, damn. So
Yeah.
I got out of there, and he never missed, man. Right in the
No.
middle of that Birdland guitar, he never missed. But for a minute, I was like, well, what's he doing? Uh-oh, it's coming after me.
What
So
was
yeah,
your
he did
favorite?
it. He did it with me.
What was your favorite Nugent songs? The old stuff to play. Now you sang. Did you sing Stranglehold?
I sang Stranglehold. Yeah, sang
Yeah.
Stranglehold. Just what the doctor ordered. Um,
Motor City Madhouse.
yeah. Well, I think Ted sang that one.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that
Um,
was his. But
yeah, I sang all the stuff that Derek sang. Original stuff. Yeah, that was fun, man. Cat Scratch Fevers, because it was always fun, and Ted sang that one, of course. But that was always fun. Hey baby, right, great riff.
oh,
It was
well,
the
Nugent's
ball.
like with REO and these bands, like the whole concert is songs they have to play. You know,
Yeah.
it's like, but like nothing like Yank Me, Crank Me, or you
Wait,
know,
wait. We started with Yank Me Crank Me.
yeah, that
We
you're
started the
right.
set. We started the set with Yank Me Crank Me. Yep. Yep.
Uh,
I remember. I remember Ted at the Philadelphia Spectrum, right? And I was in the band. I was new in the band, 86, playing with Aerosmith. And I don't know how much, 20,000 people out there. And he came out first, with like tassels, like what Roger Daltrey used to wear.
yep.
And he came out there, and the crowd and this is 86, the crowd just went berserk. He just walked out there in the middle of with a spot. And he just had the crowd, and I mean, it was deafening. I was like, oh my, on the side of the stage waiting for him to
Yeah.
start. And it was, that's why I'm saying he's a Hall of Famer. If people saw him or whatever, or the powers to be saw that, it would go, oh my God, he was just a force to be reckoned with. And he had this, the Birdland guitar on a up in this, the scaffolding, and it just came down. He was in the middle of the thing, and he's like he prayed to the Lord to come down. And this guitar would come down out of the rafters, slowly came down, and they would go nuts,
Yeah.
nuts. And it would come down, and he put the strap on, and he'd hit like an A chord. Wow. And it was insane how
Yeah.
the power he had. And I witnessed it. It was goosebumpy. It was like, wow, and then we
Do
come out and do Yank Me, Crack Me.
yeah, but don't
For the
wake up
first
to
song.
thank me. Yeah. When was the
Unbelievable.
last time you saw Nugent live?
Oof. Oh boy.
Oh,
A
it's
couple of
probably,
years ago, maybe when he came through town, maybe if I was in
yeah.
town 2, 3 years ago, maybe. I don't know. Um, Sometimes he used to invite me up there and I'd play Hey Baby with him, whatever,
Yeah.
guitar with him. He'd invite me up and I'd play with him sometimes. And a couple of times when Derek was around, so Ted would play guitar, I would play guitar, and Derek would just front it and sing it. That
Uh-huh.
was the ultimate. Had my friends up there, and it was great.
The last few tours, he's been Fred Bear has been the long version. And it's just like, even though it's a long song, and it's like he would do that, and after a while you forget, hey, well, what song are we in? And then he would come back into it. And a couple of
Right.
those tours, he like revisited Hibernation. And it's like, Dave, it brings a fan like me back to 1977, 78 as
Sure.
I'm going through those albums. I remember when I was a kid. Now, this is back in the late 70s, and staying up past 12 o'clock when you're, 11 years old, that was late. But I remember watching the late night Don Kirshner's rock concert
Sure.
and
Yeah.
seeing that, and then like seeing Nugent at California Jam
Oh,
with the white jumpsuit with the suspenders. And what kind of guitar was that? Was it the big hollow body?
it's the
And he's,
Birdland. It's the Birdland.
yeah,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
just, and then you think back, how young he really was?
Yeah. I believe me, 85. I joined him in 85. That was a while ago.
Ah,
Um, and he had the loincloth with me too, He had the loincloth and the tail in the back. It was great. It
uh,
was an experience for me. It's
like
great.
I shared, my first concert was Ted Nugent Scream Dream. Me and my
Yeah.
buddy Chucky Bricado went, but Dave, we didn't know about encores.
Yeah.
So the concert ends, and me and Chucky are walking out, and we're walking out of the hockey rink, and all of a sudden we hear the crowd going nuts. We turn around, we see Nugent swinging on this vine, going from stage to stage, and he has like the whole show. He had the loincloth on with those
Sure.
boots, and he like, I don't know, he went into like paralyzed or something, and
Oh, yeah.
but it was right from the beginning. You talk about goosebumps. Ah, fantastic
That's what I'm
memories.
saying. I mean, he's a Hall of Famer. It doesn't,
Yeah,
matter whatever, the people are saying. He's a Hall of Famer. There's no question about it. It's like, come
sure.
on, it's just ridiculous. He's ridiculous. I mean, you saw it, and I was a witness to it. I was there. So come on, it's stupid not to have him go in there as a incredible guitar player. And I don't know. It's just I don't like it.
Yeah, well, you know what? I have to give the Ugly American Werewolf in London podcast a plug, because in April 2nd, that episode, the Vernomatic for Metal Mayhem ROC, is going to be on there with my first concert memories of Ted Nugent.
Oh, that's great. Great.
Yeah, we're
Yeah,
talking with
you
Dave
should.
Amato. What's that?
Yeah, you should tell people about that. Yeah,
Oh,
that's
yeah,
good.
yeah, we'll plug
People
it.
should know. Yeah,
We're talking
yeah,
with Dave Amato, the tour, Brotherhood of Rock,
yep.
Styx, Kevin Cronin's REO Speedwagon, or Kevin Cronin Band, the best of REO, and Don Felder. Well, let's talk about a couple quick house cleaning. Your time with David Lee Roth, you did some stuff in the studio, and Mötley Crüe. What were those bands?
Yeah, I did. Well, we were doing a record with Ted. It might have been the Lick'em record, I think. If you can't lick 'em, lick 'em. And Motley was doing. They were right next door doing "Girls, Girls, Girls," and they needed some background vocals, and they loved Ted at that
Yeah.
time. They loved Ted Nugent, and I was his lead singer, so I went in there and we cut "Girls, Girls, Girls" and "Wild Side" in one day. Um, they were working on those two songs, and even at that time, I thought those two songs were like, oh my God, those are hit records, Girls, Girls, Girls were like, wow. And I
Yeah.
got to sing backgrounds on it, and I got friends at the time with Nikki Sixx. So I ended up doing a bunch of stuff after that with the crew. Every time Nikki would call me, say, "Okay, Dave, come in." I didn't play any guitar; I just sang background vocals. So I was a session singer, backgrounds,
Hmm.
and I did Decade of Decadence too. Um, a couple of songs in that. Primal Scream, that song, Primal Scream.
Yeah, that's one of the better later catalog
Yeah,
songs.
I did that one with Tommy Lee and I, saying "Scream, Shout," the
Yeah. Rock out
background
on the
vocals.
out or whatever the
Yeah,
lyrics are.
yeah, we that's me and
Where
Tommy.
where'd they record that? Was that one on one in LA or was that Vancouver?
No, I think Dr. Feelgood was Vancouver. They did Decade. I did some demos on Decade over here in California, in Chatsworth, I think it was.
Okay.
Um, and some of the demos they kept. Primal Scream. I think I did some of the vocals over there in Chatsworth. Um, Conway was the Girls, Girls, Girls record. I think Conway Studios in LA at the time.
Was
I don't
Bob
even know.
Rock was Bob Rock doing that one?
Bob Rock. No. Tom Werman? I think it was
Okay.
Tom Werman.
So it
I
was, yeah,
think on
because
Girls. I think Tom Werman did Girls. I think.
they Girls was 87, Feel Good
Yes.
was 88, 89. And
Right.
then that's when Rock came in. Then they went to Canada because Bob's
Correct.
Canadian and
Okay. Gotcha. Yeah. I
oh
did. I did do backgrounds on a Vince Neil record with Bob Rock producing. We did a Chicago song, 25 or 624. I don't even know where that is. It's on one of Vince's solo records, I guess. I'm not sure where that landed, but I did some background vocals, and I think Bob did the recording for that one. I think it was Vince Neil's solo record.
was that the Steve Stevens? Steve Stevens played guitar in it. Exposed.
I just came in to sing
Ah,
background
all right.
vocals at the time. The track was pretty much done, I think.
All right.
Yeah.
What about David Lee Roth?
Um, well, a friend of mine, uh, Brett Tuggle, who's no longer with us,
Yeah,
unfortunately, played for David Lee Roth,
keyboard player.
and yes, and Rick Springfield,
Yeah.
wonderful friend of mine. I miss him dearly. We used to sing a lot of backgrounds together, and we'd go in and sing, some backgrounds for the like live stuff to put on the like emulators at the time, for background vocals. And we did Rick Springfield stuff way back in the 80s. And he called me in to do some background vocals on David Lee Roth stuff with him because he was in the band at the time.
Yeah.
So I did some backgrounds on David Lee Roth stuff.
You
That was
ever
wow. That was awesome. It's great.
well, Van Halen's my favorite band of all time.
Oh,
Um,
great.
I,
And Eddie. Whew.
yeah,
Yeah.
you have a relationship with Eddie at all?
I used to see him at Bob Bradshaw's. I used to go over there and he used to be working on his pedal boards with Bob, and I sold my soul to get a Bob Bradshaw pedal board at the time, and I used to go over there and just hang out and see Eddie over there all the time, and I saw Eddie a few times when Sammy got in the band. I went to see him, on tour like that, but
Yeah,
I didn't hang out with him or anything. I should have. I wish I had, but I didn't. But
yeah.
I used to see him. When I see him, I said hi and we spoke, whatever.
That's awesome. Yeah, he's my favorite. I had a chance to
Oh,
meet Alex this fall in New York for his book signing.
oh yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
nice,
and it was
nice.
Dave, I tell you, it was awesome. It was you had a chance to ask him one question, and he was very cool. And so you know me, I'm a ball buster. So
What'd you ask him?
I asked him if he remembered um Diver Down tour in Syracuse. It was Dave's birthday, and they brought out a big cake and they smothered him. And at the end of the show when they were singing Happy Trails, and when he turned around, Alex slipped on the frosting and bopped his head, and he got up. And I asked him if he remembered that, and he said, "Was that the show with Ted?" I go, "Ted?" He goes, "Yeah, Ted Nugent." I'm like, "No, Al, that was the 70s. That was the 70s." He goes, "Oh, no." And he remembered my name. I said, "Hey, my name's Johnny." He goes, "That's how cool he was." He goes, "Nah, John, that was like a lot of years ago, a lot of tours ago, and a lot of misbehaving ago." but we took a couple pictures, and it was, I just wanted to break the ice a little bit and just
Sure, I get it. Yeah, I mean,
but
like you're bringing up some things. I'm not sure if I know the dates. You know what I mean? I'm like, oh, like the set list. You say, well, did you play this? I'm like, oh, God,
yeah,
John, I don't remember.
I
But
know.
you know what?
I just get excited.
Oh no, it sounds cool. No, hey, you're a fan. I'm a fan too. I'm a fan of Eddie's and and the Van Halen crew and Sammy and Michael Anthony is Sammy first is a friend, and I love Sammy Hagar. He's amazing, and Michael Anthony too. And Michael's a sweetheart, unbelievable bass player and singer, and those two guys, like I know, pretty well. So I went last year. We saw, the Sammy's, Van Halen thing,
Yeah.
out there. Well, REO went to one show last year, and I hung with Michael over there and Sammy, and that was such a great tour last year. It was amazing,
Yeah, it was
So
they're having fun, and as everyone gets older, and
yeah.
it's just like you got to take advantage of this. Let me ask you this. How much, seeing that, you're on the inside, how much of what us fans read and get bombarded with this fake social media bullshit is true versus not true? And I know I'm not asking it right, but you know what I mean? You get bombarded with so much stuff. Like, here's an example. Like, say you're reading stuff on your sports teams, and it's just like it's just the way they present the information. So us rock fans, when we read stuff, is a lot of it just BS?
You're talking about like with the REO stuff that's going
No,
on and
no,
has
just in
been.
general, just in 2025, there's so much social media, there's so much clickbait. It's like, what can you believe? I think I'm just venting. Maybe I didn't ask it correctly. It's just,
No, I think a lot of it's BS. I mean, if you're asking me, I think a lot of it's BS, and sometimes, like you say, on the inside, we don't want to chime in, and it lights a fire, and then you got, everything going back and forth, back and forth. It's not worth it, So sometimes we read it, and you gotta, if you get mad or something like that, you go, well, that's not true. That's garbage, And a lot of it is garbage. I think a lot of it's garbage. Some of it is true, but maybe it's bent a little bit, So you want to try to straighten it out, but like I said, you don't want to, we don't want to chime in there and start you light a match, and then you get both sides going back and forth, and it's like
yeah,
oh man, I shouldn't have done that, and I've done that before. I've said something like, man, that's wrong, that's not right. I want to, as a band member, or something like that, it's not right, and it's not worth it. After a while you just go, oh, I shouldn't stop. I shouldn't do that, because you're just hiding behind the keyboard. You're hiding
yeah.
behind a keyboard, and you can say what you want. Nobody knows who you are, really,
Hmm.
and I agree with you. It's a lot of it is, I don't know, baloney, I think,
Yeah.
whatever.
Are you a football fan?
Yeah, well, from Boston, the Patriots, although the last couple of years, what happened, Um, so I really don't, when the Patriots were going full throttle, and I'm like, you know, and I'm still a Patriots fan, but a little disappointed in the last couple of years.
Oh, you don't see my cup.
Oh no, it's Giants,
No, Dolphins. Dolphins.
Dolphins. What in New
Yeah.
York?
Yeah,
What?
dude, I'm in the middle of Bills country. I'm a fish out of water. Are you kidding me? It's bad. It's bad. And then they're like, I never had a problem with the Patriots because
No?
no, because there was one team that we always split with them. Brady's worst record against a team was Miami. Same with Belichick.
Oh, okay.
You
Okay.
come down to Miami and strange things happens.
Well,
What's your favorite Nugent song of all time?
wow. I would say Stranglehold. I would say Stranglehold. It's fun to play, you know. It's a great vocal. I have to say Stranglehold for sure.
And what's the chances of Music Man making it into this year's summer REO set?
We did it last year. I don't know. Maybe we did it last
Okay.
year.
All
It was
right.
in there. It was in there. So, but we have to do the high infidelity stuff, you know, and I don't know. It's up to Kevin. It's up
Okay.
to Kevin. You know, I mean, he bounces it off of us, but he has a projection. You know, he writes it down and say, "What do you guys think?" You know. So,
Yeah.
and if we got enough time, because it's a pretty short set for all the hits
I
we
know.
have.
I
You know?
know. I know.
Yeah.
I just get excited. I'm a jamming REO and the whole thing.
That's great. No, you're a
Yeah.
fan. I love it, and me
Yeah.
too. I love those songs too. You know, Music Man's fun to play. I gotta tell you, we did it all last year. Yeah, we rocked it.
What else is going on in the Dave Amato brand? Anything else you need to plug or publicize?
Well, I
Where can
had
people follow you?
oh
Socials?
look at I'm advertising Norm's rare guitars.
Yeah, I saw that.
You see the documentary on Norm's rare
No,
guitars
who's
on
Norm?
Netflix
No, what
documentary.
is Norm's Rare Guitars? What is it?
Oh, it's a guitar store, Norm Harris in L.A., famous guitar store. It's he's got a documentary on Netflix. I think it's still on there. You should look it up. And
Okay.
you know, Richie Sambora's a lot of guest stars on there, and I was in there too. It's just check it out. It's a great documentary on the he was he's a pioneer of vintage guitars, you know, trying to, you know, all these vintage guitars which I love. I'm a collector, and as Bonamassa is, as you know, as Richie Sambora is, all of us are guitar nerds, and Norm is the pioneer of that. He's the grandfather of that. So check it out. You know. Oh,
You
I want to
mentioned
say, I want to say in '91, I played with Richie Sambora, who was one of my dearest friends ever, and I think Richie Sambora is incredible musician and human being. I got to tell you, Sambora is my buddy, and he's amazing.
cool. You mentioned before that up here in Rochester, you've been to the House of Guitars several times.
Yeah, I
Your
love.
House of Guitar story.
I well, it's just it's a house. You have to spend hours in there just trying to find something. It's the incredible guitar store was not normal at all. And is the
No.
record store still down in the basement?
Yep. I swear to God, listeners, the House of Guitars in Rochester, it's in this old house. It's a big house, and it literally is three or
Yeah.
four stories.
Yep.
And they've added on throughout the years. But yeah, there's tons of records in the back area, tons and tons of records, CDs. But then you go to the front and there's amps everywhere. There's a stage where they play. There's everything there, and everyone goes there. It's now they have an outside jam area.
Oh, they do? Yeah.
Yeah, in the summer months. And Dave, I would not be surprised if there is still records there that when I was a teenager going there and buying stuff.
I'm
They
sure.
just it's just huge. It's great. And the slogan, the great House of Guitars, and three brothers own it.
Yeah.
It's a family business, and they're on the premises. They're there all the time. It's Now, have you ever been there while you're not on tour? Like,
No, just, to get to Rochester, we're usually touring, and I got my fingers crossed if I get a day off, or even if I don't during the day. I mean, I wake up early and I'm at the door before it opens, just to look, because it takes hours to look through. I say it's a mess, but it's a cool mess. You know what I mean? You got to look through all the stuff, and I love that about a guitar store, when it's just thrown in there and you got to dig. And it should take like 2 days to go through there, but I usually only have one. And I spent hours there just finding gems in the pile of equipment that's in there. It's the best guitar store ever. It's amazing. And it's a house.
Yeah, you have a Syracuse, New York date on the Brotherhood of Rock Tour.
We have each other's emails. We'll check it out. Maybe the schedule is where you could stop in and we'll meet up. But I will be hitting up the show.
If it is, I'll grab a cup of coffee with you. We'll go over there. I love that store.
Love it.
I bought so many guitars there and stuff. I bought a Super Beetle from Andy when Andy used to the Babic.
Oh yeah, from the Chesterfield Kings.
Yes, yeah. He used to work there, and I bought a bunch of stuff from him.
All of us got back together.
Oh yeah,
the Chesterfield.
That's what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Well, he's got a great guitar store there, right? The Fab. What's it called? Fab.
I'm not sure. I'm not a guitar player.
Yeah. Well, there's a store in Rochester. He's got his own store now. We've had for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fab Gear. Andy store.
I'm not a guitarist. No. Just goes over my head.
Yeah, we gotta get you going there. Let's go.
I'm the best air guitarist ever. I tried guitar in 7th grade, and I just appreciate from abroad. So.
Oh, that's okay. That's great.
Yeah, I know. All right, Dave. I think we'll wrap this one up, and maybe we'll have a part 2 after the tour. But again, the Brotherhood of Rock, Styx, Kevin Cronin Band, Don Felder, and dates across America. Where can people get tickets? Just Google Kevin Cronin Band. Is that easy to say?
I would say sure. Or Black Nation, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay. Yep.
All right. Thanks, Dave.
Okay, bud. Thanks, John. Thank you.
Metal for Life.
Thank you for listening to Metal Mayhem ROC. Check out our website at metalmayhemroc.com for information on podcasts, archives, links to all our live radio shows, and all sorts of info. Please like, follow, and share with everyone, even your non-metal friends. And always remember to keep it heavy.